What's up, everybody, and welcome to Game and Talk, your favorite Nintendo podcast. Today, I'm going to host it because we've decided to switch off a little bit.
I'm too
Of
much
course,
trouble.
yeah, RGT is getting in a lot of fire these days, so we're going to have to switch gears a little bit. Of course, we do want to give a huge shout out to our Patreon homies over there at the executive producer tier. We got John O, Joshua Butts, Mr. Joby, The Game Orb, William Hoag, and Trent A at the producer tier. Thank you guys so much for supporting the Spawncast Patreon. If you guys want to do that, you can check it in the description down below. But today's episode is going to be pretty much a banger. We're going to talk about our top 10 or our top 20 retro games because I think everybody came here with 5 of their top 5 retro games, I believe. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. I totally did.
All right. And we're going to talk about the Hollow Knight Silk Song update and a new Nintendo patent. So, what do you guys, how are we feeling about the Hollow Knight Silk Song update?
It sucks. I'm not a huge Hollow Knight fan. Like, I think it's a good game. I think it's a little overrated, in a sea of Metroidvanias. To me, it didn't really stick out all that much. Obviously very small team. They were very successful with their first game. So, hats off to them, all the success in the world. Obviously this is based on listings popping up on Steam where you can wish list stuff and whatnot. Celia, how does that work?
Okay, just for clarification, for the Hollow Knight Silk Song update, that's just that ratings popped up and a store page popped up, right?
Yes.
I believe so. Okay, so the thing is, though, is like with store pages, you can have them as long as you're intending to release on that platform. You can have that posted at any time. But the fact that there's ratings and it's not rating pending means it's probably this is me guessing. I'm not on Team Cherry. This is just me looking at things. It's probably the horizon of releases is coming up. But I really don't feel like it's much to really talk about besides that it'll be out when they want it out.
Okay.
Honestly, but the thing is though, once it has its rating, most of the content is locked in. There wouldn't be anything else they'd be really adding to the game besides fixing bugs, updating assets, making it pretty, fixing all the rest of the pretty corners with it. Because for that rating, you can't just add more things to the game after.
Right. So I mean, it's probably I guess my thing is it's been quite a while since it was initially announced. So kind of why the secrecy about it? I don't know. It just seems kind of weird unless it's showing up on Game Pass. Well, it is showing up on Game Pass, right?
Yes. Day one Game Pass release. It was announced 2 years ago at the June showcase.
Well, I mean, even then, you feel like you'd still want to hype people up. Maybe because of Hellblade, they don't want to do that. But it's not. I mean, it's not like they're really promoting Hellblade that much either.
Okay, so with game marketing, there's everything has to be centered around a beat. So whether they're announcing they had coming to Game Pass, so coming to a platform confirmation, the next would be release date announcement. But considering that Team Cherry and the cult that is Hollow Knight, they don't really need to market it. When it's ready, people will buy it. Every time, for example, the rating pending changing to an E10 plus, it broke the internet. Everyone was talking about it. We're talking about it right now. They don't need to really market it until they're ready to release. And it probably will be announced on Xbox first, because I'm assuming this is an Xbox exclusive, for marketing at least, since Xbox has been the one to play the trailer and have the store page first and all that.
And Game Pass and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big uncertainty, is whether or not Microsoft has secured that type of exclusive marketing rights to Hollow Knight. And given that they did announce it back in 2022 as releasing in the next 12 months. And we all saw how that went for Microsoft, where the majority of those games did not release in the next 12 months. But you'd think that they probably view Hollow Knight Silk Song as a tentpole, as a Game Pass release coming assumingly it will be coming later this year for the points that Celia has mentioned. The game was rated in South Korea, and typically when you look at the trend of games rated in South Korea, those games tend to release within a 3 to 6 month window. If you go back to even some of the PlayStation 5 launch games, a number of them were being rated around June and even September, and some of those titles of note included Demon Souls, where at that point we still didn't have a release date for the game. So when you look at that history, I'd say it's very reasonable to expect Silksong to release anytime between late summer and maybe fall of this year. And finally, we can move on beyond talking about when the game's coming out, and we'll be able to play the game and see if it lives up to the hype of the last, how many years has it been since the game was announced, and then it just continuously got delayed? It's been close to 5 years now, I think.
Yeah. Do you feel like they might be nervous about, expectations? Because, like, I mean, I'm sure, I don't know how a viral indie hit works, but I mean, Shovel Knight was a viral indie hit. Granted, weren't there at that time, but I mean, you've seen the ramifications of that. Do you think they feel like some sort of pressure, like going into this, like, oh shit, when we released Hollow Knight, nobody knew who we were, and it was a game that clicked with people, but now there's that anticipation, there's that, that wanting of more information, and there's that expectation that's now set. You went from, a relative unknown to essentially a large indie company.
So I feel like with every development cycle, there is that anticipation. The fact that it is Hollow Knight, and like as you said, it went viral, like it's beloved. I feel like they would feel nervous, but considering the quality of their work, I don't think that they'd be too scared, to be honest. Like, with us, like for Shovel Knight, like our next like franchise we're currently working on with Mina the Hollower. And like, that's very intimidating. Even though the game looks really cool and it's going to be awesome, there's always that anxiety of like, what if they look at it and be like, oh, I guess we didn't like this one. Shovel Knight was cool though. Like it's stressful, but I hope they're not too nervous.
I would imagine with Silksong here, it's just that Team Cherry likely wanted to evolve what they did from the base of Hollow Knight 1. They didn't want to just regurgitate the exact same game with a different lead character. And with that would come that natural expansion of ideas and concepts. And sometimes, especially with a development team of only 3 to 4 people, when you're trying to do that expansion and evolution, you bite off more than you can chew. And then it takes longer and you become more ambitious. And then you're saying, we have to delay the game another year. And within that year, you're coming up with newer ideas or you're fleshing out some of your previous concepts. So now you have to delay the game further. And it's also worth noting that they got a bag from Microsoft to put this as a Game Pass day one release. So some of those financials are already covered for them, but they're probably feeling a certain sense of pressure of, we did have success with our first game. People are anticipating something great from us here. We have to deliver something new and exciting, because if we just give them Hollow Knight with a new character, that may be underwhelming, especially when you've been waiting for the better part of this entire generation for what they had originally classified as DLC expansion before it did evolve essentially into a whole new game.
We don't have a release date yet here, right?
No.
But when
No.
did Microsoft say 12 months from now, or like a year from now?
2022.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they also said 12
Okay.
months we were going to get Starfield, Redfall, and Forza, and that was bullshit too. I mean,
Is it
obviously,
2022 or is it 2021?
it's been a good minute. Do you think they announced it too soon?
For
Hollow
sure.
Knight Silksong? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's been way too long.
Because they've delayed it. Well, they've come out with their statements on their Twitter and social media platform and saying, hey, we have to delay it into next year. So their original vision of the game was probably something of a smaller scale than what we're going to end up getting. So it's just a case of, I think they had grand ambitions and it just kept essentially snowballing on them. So they had to buy as much time as they needed to get the game to a state that they are finally fully confident to bring it out. And with that South Korea rating, I think the game's out in the next 6 months.
What about the North Korean rating? Have they rated it yet?
It should be
They
coming up
don't
soon.
have games.
Ah, okay. They might. I mean, they might have propaganda games. You never know.
Yeah, it's called like hollow capitalism or something.
Hollow
It's just
communism.
Mario, but Kim Jong-un is the guy.
That'd be kind of fun.
All right, so that's the Hollow Knight Silksong update. What is this new Nintendo patent? Somebody's gonna tell me about this because I actually have not seen this at all. Is this on Twitter?
Nate's gonna have fun. We're gonna sit back and let Nate talk.
Spew it, Nate.
So, within the last 24 hours, there had been several reports of a brand new Nintendo Switch patent surfacing. The patent was published in 2022, so it's not new. And a lot of people think this is related to the Switch 2. Now, when you read the patent, what you'll find out, it's actually about a swivel on the back of a dock, allowing you to better ease your cable management. So if you want the HDMI and power cable to be on the right side of the dock, turn it that way. If you want it in the middle, left, upward, whatever direction you choose. That's what the patent was showing. Somehow this has been conflated to the Switch 2. It has nothing to do with the Switch 2. It's purely a patent about a dock with a swivel stick on the back of it. But in the era of Nintendo YouTubers who need to attach everything to the Switch 2, this started to spread around. Last night and into today, a few outlets have accurately reported what it is, which is just a lazy Susan on the back of a Switch dock. But others are trying to just force that connection to a Switch 2, despite the patent being over 2 years old, and the fact that it is a public patent means it's not being used for an unannounced piece of hardware. But we continue to go down that path of conversation every time a public patent is discovered. If it's public and it's not in a currently sold device, it's not going to be something Nintendo utilizes in unannounced hardware or an accessory. They're not going to publish the patent 2 years early for an unannounced piece of hardware. Could the Switch 2, dock utilize this feature? Potentially. But this is nothing. People have to stop forcing connections through nonsensical means. You're just connecting dots, hoping to create an image. These aren't constellations. You're not making Orion in the sky with with his belt, with Betelgeuse, okay? It's a patent. People need to read these more closely. They have to look at the publishing date. They have to look at the submittal date. They have to read the words and look at the diagrams before formulating a conclusion based on their own bias.
So it's
What are
not
these-
the Nintendo Switch swivel?
It is not.
I've heard that name thrown around now.
That's disgusting.
No, I'm dead serious. Dead ass with it.
That would suck. What are these Nintendo YouTubers saying? Like, what are they connecting? Like, how would they just think it's going to be used or what?
Well, some are outright dismissing or they're ignoring the dock element of the patent, and they're just looking at the illustration of a Switch, saying this is the Switch 2.
Oh my God. What are we doing?
Yeah, so they're kind of ignoring, the entire patent and just looking for an illustration to claim, look, it's the Switch 2, because it looks like a Switch. Yeah, but the patent's about a dock. Yeah, that's not important, though, for some obscure reason. And I just don't understand it, because we go through this cycle, I feel, every week. There's always a patent someone is finding, and it's never new. It's just nonsensical at this point. It's tiring. It's exhausting. And I get people want information about the Switch 2, but stop trying to force it into reality.
Yeah. We've gotten a couple super chats, so I think we should go into those real quick. The first one is from Noah Smith. Was Sean kicked off the Spawncast? Sean?
No, I'm not on this weekend because of WrestleMania. I was just tired last weekend. The thing is, like, people wonder like why I'm always like kicking hornets' nests and causing stuff. It's because I want John to fire me. If John fires me, he's like, "Oh, we can't do this anymore. We can't have you on." Then I can make a video on it. If I leave on my own accord, it's like, fuck that. Nobody cares about that. Oh, we just decided to leave, like Max did. Like, who cares? So
Can you be fired from a job you don't get paid for? Like, can you be fired from a voluntary position?
Well, and I mean,
you can be not asked back as a volunteer.
The thing of it is like a lot of this stuff happens because of him. And Nate can he can confirm it if he chooses to or not. That's his own prerogative. but he constantly tries to set me up, and he'll send tweets to me that he knows I can't control myself sometimes, and it's very dangerous. He's a very dangerous man.
He leads you to the fire and then hands you the gas canister and says, "Look, Sean."
Yeah.
Good
Because he
content.
wants you to pour more on it, and you continue to take the bait just over and over again.
And he doesn't have the balls to ever say, because he's fucking white.
He uses
so.
you to express his thought. He sits behind us saying, "I know what I want to say, but I can't say it. You know who will do it? Sean."
Yes.
Like, "Hey, Sean, what do you think of this?" Like, I hate that thing. He's like, "Yes, do it for me." You're serving as his minion. You have to rebel.
Yeah,
Bite the hand of your master.
Wow.
I got to lay low this week for the rest of the week.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Andy
Just for the
Ackerman with the 4.99 says, "Oh no, don't worry about him. So long as the Knicks lose, we're good." I don't know what that's in reference.
Knicks are fine. The Knicks are fine.
Knicks are good. And then we got a newish one from Outlaw Farmers RC, $5. So I'm not reading this, but I know
You're the host.
No.
I'll read it.
Yeah, you can read it. Oh yeah, wait.
All
Oh,
right.
you can do the quotes. I'll read it, but then you do the quotes.
Okay. What are we?
So
12?
where is the
Penis peekaboo.
and the
Jizzin' dance.
RGT? Great video, bro. Really uplifted my shitty day I was having. Thanks for sharing.
So I made a video today because I kind of wanted to parlay off of the video I made yesterday. And so I just titled it "I'm an idiot" so that people would think, oh, he's probably, saying something about yesterday, but I didn't. I just watched like old videos from 10 years ago on Nintendo Enthusiast channel on my video today. And one of them was me playing Mario DDR for the GameCube. And I came up with like this whole idea. I was like, I'm gonna get a workout outfit. My buddy was starting to do stand-up comedy, and that was part of his bit where he would talk about white guys who can't dance or white girls who can't dance. The white guys would do the penis peekaboo, which is like, and then the girls would do the jism dance. And so I incorporated that into the video. And I remember the people at Nintendo Enthusiasts were like, "You can't do that." And I was like, "No, I'm doing it." And they were like, "No, we're not posting the video." I was like, "Oh, we're posting the video." And I just went ahead and posted it, and they all got mad at me. But yeah, that was one of the videos I returned to, just so. Yeah.
It was a good video. I watched it. I like your hair. It's pretty funny.
I was watching an old stream before Josie joined the Spawncast, and she sent a super chat asking how to deal with the zit in your nose. I took a screenshot.
There's no way. I've never super chatted.
Omega says otherwise.
I don't think that was me, but maybe.
An imposter.
A fake Josie Woah. All right. Well, everybody has 5 of their favorite retro games, and we were having a hard time deciding, is retro 15 or 20 years old? Here's the thing, personally, if we're going 15, I would be very happy about that because
you weren't alive.
I wasn't alive. I'm 20. If we go 20 years old, that's as old as I am, so I don't really have much, but I have a couple prepared either way. So we're gonna start here with Nate. What is your first game?
The game.
Oh, wait, hold on.
That's set.
Time out. Is this Nintendo only?
Oh yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
What do you mean?
We're a Nintendo show.
podcast.
Fuck. Oh, I'm not the only Jew here who didn't have.
I know.
Nintendo. I'm not the only one.
That's very specific, but yeah, no, I added some other games on there. I'm gonna be editing my list, so if you hear typing, that's why.
Okay. Nate, hit us with yours. Apparently, we're the only 2 who were put together for this thing.
At number 1, one of the greatest games of all time. A game that transcends all of time. A masterpiece for the ages. The Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past.
That's a pretty good one.
I mean, it's a good one. You played it as a kid, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
See, I got in it as an adult, so it didn't hit as hard for me. Ocarina hit way harder for me because that's what I had as a kid.
Yeah, I haven't played it either. Well, I mean, I've played it, but I don't have nostalgia for it. I really like it. I think it's one of the best Zelda games, but
What?
what do you mean?
The music of the game is perfection. The dark world, and if you go too soon, you're like pink bunny thing. It just
How
has
do you
epic
feel?
battles. It's everything. The sprite art style is still just chef's kiss. It's timeless. That game can be played today and be enjoyed, and it will be able to be played in 50 years, and people will enjoy it.
Do you think it's better than Ocarina?
I
Well,
think
let's
they're
not get ahead of
interchangeable.
ourselves. Let's not get
I think
ahead of
they're
maybe somebody's
interchangeable.
got it on their list. We can talk about that. RGT, what's your first game?
I'm gonna go with a game that was very impactful for me. I'll go really old. It's a game that, the sequel was better if you wanted to play with a friend, but the original to me was just perfect because it took the arcade game and it added more and it ran better and it had cooler music than the arcade game. And I didn't know it was an arcade game until like way later in life. And that is Double the Fuck Dragon, pussies. Double Dragon is amazing. The NES version is far superior to the arcade version. Has literal slowdown every 5 seconds. The arcade version is not good. I'll give you the Master System version if you want to talk about that. Cool. It's a great blend of the NES version and the arcade version. But I think the NES version is the definitive version of Double Dragon 1. Point blank, period.
Okay. Celia, hit us with
Oh,
yours.
okay. So, I'm gonna start off with Banjo-Kazooie. First off, I just love that game. I am a Banjo-Kazooie kid. But the game, from the humor to the music to the level design, was just so fantastic. Like, I love how each of the levels have like a certain focal point of like where you're in the game and everything's sectioned off, and it just feels so complete. And it's what got me to start like 100% in games, because like you got a little reward for doing it. He did this little dance, and I thought that was adorable. So yeah, I think that was the game that I played and beat, and was like, I think video games is my thing. So that's why it's my number one. Oh my god, is Banjo in the room with us?
He is, and he's
Really
getting
good.
ready for his Xbox game that MVG said was coming like 10 years ago. And it's still not here.
Ah, jeez.
Huh?
Got banned from Reddit for that.
Am
Josie,
I
it's your turn.
am I allowed to put Wii on it?
I guess, child.
Okay. Great. I'm gonna hit us with Mario Galaxy. I played this game very, very when I was very new to gaming, right? When I was a really little kid. It was one of the first games I ever beat entirely by myself. So I have a little nostalgia for it in that way. Top of which I've gone back and played it numerous times. I think it stands up very well. It's a very creative, very fun game. And I think it just did something really different for the Mario franchise. And it's one of my favorites.
Did you get the 3D All Stars?
I did. I played it again on Switch, and I thought it was pretty okay.
It's a shame that people who are watching this now, if they didn't get 3D All Stars, unfortunately, your window of opportunity has closed. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Artificial scarcity is amazing for video games.
Did you guys like Galaxy?
Yes.
I did. I liked it a lot, but I never played Galaxy 2.
Okay.
Galaxy 2 is fantastic.
It is really good.
I felt like Galaxy was fine in its own orbit, no pun intended, but like it didn't stick with me like 64 did, like even Odyssey did. I think Odyssey is right up there with 64 in my opinion. But like Galaxy is definitely a high. I mean, it's way better than Sunshine. Sunshine can go to hell.
Should be shot into the sun.
Should be shot and dragged out in the streets.
I liked Galaxy, but I guess my issue with the game has nothing to do with the game. But the first time I played it, and the only time I played it, was when I had food poisoning, and when I was running around. I just felt really nauseous. So whenever I think of that game, I think about barfing. I wish I got 3D All-Stars, and literally I was like playing through the other ones and I'm like, oh, this is fun. And then I was like, I think I should put this down.
Yikes. It's like a Sean story.
Yeah, it's very specific, but I decided to share.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Nate, you ready to hit us with your next game?
I am. TMNT4 Turtles in Time.
Nice.
Another game better on home than the arcade.
I mean, it's the perfect beat 'em up. It has iconic villains from the Ninja Turtle universe. It has Big Apple 3 a.m., a sound that just resonates with you throughout life. You have, Rat King. You have so many just epic battles, and you go back in time. And you have little historical references as names and puns, like bury my shell at Wounded Knee. As a kid, you don't know what that's referring to. And then as you become older and more educated, you understand that reference. And you understand why you are on a train and there's Indian foot soldiers and such.
Natives.
Yes, Native Americans. But it's a perfect game.
They're gonna come for you. They're watching this right now to make sure I don't say anything. Now they got
That's
something
true.
on you.
Well,
no, it's fucking phenomenal game, dude. That's one of the best Super Nintendo exclusives like ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the arcade 1-up that has Turtles in Time on it, but that doesn't negate the Super Nintendo version, because like we were saying, the Super Nintendo version has more content and all that sort of stuff than the original arcade version did, because I had to pad it out.
it's just, I mean, it's still that upper echelon of the beat 'em up. That's what games have to aspire to be. And that's what made Shredder's Revenge such a delightful release last year, is because it had that feel and essence that Turtles in Time gave us back in the day. And if you're making a Turtles game that's in the beat 'em up genre, you have to at least match or come close to Turtles in Time, because that is the bar. If you can't meet that bar, don't even bother trying.
And it had Wu-Tang. Well,
That's true.
Raekwon and Ghostface, but I mean that's very Wu-Tang.
That is true.
All right, RGT, what's yours?
I'm making this up on the fly.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with an N64 game, one that I have put an ungodly amount of time in, yet I still play it. The ultimate multiplayer game. Well, any of the games that use this engine are the ultimate multiplayer games. When you got some buddies over or something like that. And this game in particular, to me, has an impeccable roster. Yes, the sequels did add a bit more, but this one, to me, it's still just it's perfection from top to bottom. Of course, I'm talking about WCW NWO Revenge for the Nintendo 64. Sting comes down from the rafters during a battle royal. There's cool wrestlers. It's great. That's it.
All right.
That's all you need
See,
to know.
I never played that one. The only wrestling game I ever played on N64 was Warzone.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know, that's everyone's reaction to that game when I say it. I enjoyed it, though, for what it was.
Yeah,
I mean, it
you
was the only
enjoyed it.
exposure I had, and I was 12.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too, but then we started getting, because Pecker Dupree rented Warzone, and he had a PS1, and I had the N64. But then we found the Aki Engine games, where we were like, "Holy Christ! Like this is out of the stratosphere!" Like the amount of hours we put into that. We made Booker T, Billy Blanks, because you could like do like costume swaps, because we thought Billy Blanks was cool as fuck. We did so much shit in that game. And I mean, Warzone was crappy, but I actually, when writing my book, I really enjoyed Attitude a lot more than I remembered enjoying it. I don't think it still has that cruddy control scheme, but it feels a little bit more crisp and a bit more responsive. And there's a ton of fucking match types and like a really good big roster too. Pretty good graphics, good audio. Like, it's not a bad game, but the Aki Engine games, What are you talking about? World Tour, No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000, Warzone, Virtual Pro Wrestling, Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. Just fucking unfuckwithable.
Never played them, but seem very rad. All right, Celia, what's yours?
Okay. Okay, I'm looking at my list because I put them in no particular order besides Banjo-Kazooie.
Mhm.
Okay, so next one, it's a Game Boy Color game. It is a spin-off title, and it's Dragon Warrior Monsters, aka the better Pokemon. I love that game so much. I actually got it for free. Fun fact. Um,
You want
I
it?
yeah, no, I didn't win it. It was just like a
She stole it.
happenstance. No, I absolutely did not steal it. Okay, so what happened for this one was that I went to the grocery store with my mom and I was playing Game Boy and I was like just chilling in her cart. And when we got to the register, the lady like saw that I was playing Game Boy and was like, "Hey, does this fit in there?" and had the game. And I guess some kid lost it. Worst day for them, best day for me. And I was like, "Heck yeah!" And I started playing it. The thing is, though, at the time, none of my friends played anything Dragon Warrior related, so I didn't even know what this game was. No one knew about Dragon Warrior in general, so I just thought it was a standalone game. And yeah, it got me really into the series. It was funny though when I finally discovered it was a franchise and like I started playing it. And instead of making friends, because like Dragon Warrior Monsters is basically Pokemon, you catch them, you raise them, you breed them, yada yada yada. But in Dragon Warrior, you killed them, and it was very traumatizing. It's like, oh no, my friends.
It's very different.
Sometimes you got to
Um,
kill your friends, you know? What are you
Wow.
gonna do?
Okay,
Wow.
noted.
You never know. You never know what's gonna happen. I did not play that game.
You
I really,
should.
I really haven't though. Like I've played some Dragon's Quest. I played the one that was what was the big one on PS2 that everyone then all of a
Dragon
sudden got
Quest
hyped.
8.
But yeah, I played that.
Mhm.
I played 11. But yeah, I think I played the Joker game on the DS too. I think there was two of them, but I only played one of them. Yeah, it's a cool series. You know, it started out on the NES. That and Final Fantasy were kind of
Yeah.
the big RPGs at the time. Josie, what's your favorite Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest game?
Oh, really good question. I wish I had played any of them.
You can play Dragon Quest Builders.
Yeah, I've watched a few videos on that. It looks cool. It's not really.
I got
I
pretty
just.
far in that game, and then it fucking locked up on me, and it glitched, and I couldn't do anything about it.
That's insane. Well, my game is an old one for me called Metroid Fusion. I just played this very recently, actually, but I really liked it. I've been recently getting into Metroid, and so everybody had been saying like this was one of the best ones, and I really liked Dread. And then I had gone back and played a lot of the older ones, not loving them quite as much because Dread was a bit different style, I think, than the really early ones. But Fusion felt like the most, I don't know, sort of updated one that sort of made a lot more sense to me, and I really had a good time. I liked the story, I liked the vibe, I liked the movement mechanics. I think it was all really, really fun. So yeah.
It's a good game.
Yup.
Yeah, I
Nate.
remember playing it on a train.
Really?
Yeah.
The OG Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just played it on Switch Online, but the emulation was actually pretty good. But yeah. Nate, what is your next game?
I'm going with Donkey Kong Country 2,
Nice.
Diddy Kong's Quest.
Nice.
It is the pinnacle of the 2D platformer. It is something that Tropical Freeze came close to matching in rivalry. It's the perfect 2D platformer. Everything about it is flawless. It's the bar for 2D platformers. It's what you have to meet, and games still can't come close to it. Almost 30 years later, and games are still trying to match the quality of Donkey Kong Country 2. And it took a lot of people many years to realize the pun of the game's name. And I'm not sure if people on the panel even get the pun of the game.
Yes, you fucking idiot. It's not hard.
Hey, a lot of people's minds were blown.
Diddy's Conquest. Not P. Diddy's Conquest, because
My
Has-
God,
hasn't
no
been going
way.
well for him.
This is what we talk about.
All right, we'll talk about the game, Josie. You just played it.
I'm actually playing it right now. So I have just sort of beaten the first few levels. I like it. I just beat the original Donkey Kong, so that was really cool experience. And now I'm gonna try to beat all 3 of them. Nate, you think this is the best out of the 3 of those originals?
Yeah, absolutely. The order would go 2, 1, 3, because I think
Okay.
Donkey Kong Country 3 is terrible. I hate Baby Kong, Kitty Kong, whatever
Yeah,
his
Kitty
name is.
Kong.
That thing's an abomination that should have been left in the woods.
Okay. Yeah, I like the mechanic where you can pick up Dixie and Diddy and stuff and you can throw them, which I think is pretty fun and different. And the spider thing was really confusing to me, but apparently it's one of the best ones, but I couldn't figure out
Mhm.
if it was like how to shoot the webs, I think, and then I just kept losing it, but
Yeah, you
seems
shoot
like
the
a very good
webs,
game.
hit the button again. It becomes a platform you can jump on and bounce off of.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ingenuity in Diddy Kong's quest. I mean, you have Dixie with the twirling hair to fly or float, however you want to describe it. There's just a lot of great boss battles in the game. The pacing of the game, the music is legendary.
Mhm.
But Tropical Freeze came really close to, matching that quality for a Donkey Kong game, and that's what future Donkey Kong games have to be. It's the only way we want to forget Donkey Kong 64.
Fuck that
Game's
game.
bad. It's really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, Donkey Kong Country 2.
All right.
Perfection.
I will let you know in a week or 2 how I feel. Sean?
Oftentimes, you see a game get ported over to another platform. They don't really do much to it. There's no additional incentive, added content, new features. The Nintendo DS made a lot of developers think a little bit differently, taking one of the finest PlayStation 1 games of all time, an iconic title, and not only just bringing it to the Nintendo DS, but adding in multiplayer locally with a friend, adding in the ability to use the touchscreen in innovative ways, adding in additional content to the game. Ladies and gentlemen, we have arguably one of the best versions of this game ever on the Nintendo DS. I, of course, am talking about Resident Evil Deadly Silence. Love that fucking game. Love it. So good. Playing the fucking multiplayer with my buddy was so much fun. It'd go into that first person mode. If you played it with the option on, you could slash the zombies on the screen and shit like that. Amazing. Amazing game.
It really is a fantastic version of the original Resident Evil game, and having the map readily available to you and showing where you dropped items just made backtracking a breeze. And
Brilliant.
it feels as though that game is underrated. I don't think a lot of people played that version of Resident Evil because they just viewed it as, you already had Resident Evil Remake out on the GameCube, which is just one of the greatest remakes of all time. And having a portable Resident Evil 1 may have lost a little bit of its luster at that point, but if you had played Deadly Silence...
But where else was it? It wasn't on anything
Well,
else. It wasn't even on the fucking PSP.
that's true, because that's at the time when Capcom was, reportedly making an original Resident Evil that just never came out. But, I mean, now if you try to play Deadly Silence, it'll cost you a pretty penny to get the DS version.
That's actually one of the few things that I kept in my DS collection. So you get classic mode, you get rebirth mode, which has greater enemy ratio, and new puzzles that make use of the unique features and character fucking istics. And it was the first mature rated game. The puzzles use the touchscreen and microphone. There's a CPR mini game where you got to get Richard.
I think he always died.
Yeah, fuck Richard. Like he had it coming to him probably. But no, the box art was fucking cool. They did a cool Japanese version of it that I don't know. I don't buy like gaming shit, but if I found that for a decent price, I might pick that up just because that would be cool to have, and I could just make a video on it or something. But I love that fucking game. I think it's brilliant, and if my DSs weren't dead, I would boot it up right now.
All right, Celia.
Um,
God damn.
let's see. Like, okay, so this is a Nintendo one, but I'm still gonna say it. But I'm also gonna have my Nintendo one, which actually
All
counts.
good.
DDR Extreme 2. It's so good. Okay, so then my actual on the list. Fire Emblem Sacred Stones for Game Boy Advance. I love that game. It is so good. I love Fire Emblem games in general. Like anything that has like tactics to it, I love. But that game in particular, like the characters like were so memorable, and it was really fun. Like grinding and like leveling up your characters. I think that's the first game that I didn't let anyone die, which was kind of a first for me because I would just be like, instead of doing like the easier mode, I'd be like, what happens on the battlefield. So like for that one, I actually was like, attached to the characters and would turn off my game and back on. But yeah, it was just fun. I've played other Fire Emblem games since that. Like I'm just about done with the most recent one, Engage, which is interesting. So I think I'm gonna go back and play Sacred Stones again because it's so good.
Sacred Stones is a really good Fire Emblem. I didn't love it as much as the first Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance. I prefer
Okay.
Lynn as a main character. I think she
Understandable.
was an awesome character. But no, I mean Sacred Stones is far better than what was the one on the DS?
Dragon Sword,
Yeah, that was
right?
terrible.
Or Dragon
Yeah.
Song. All the
Something.
fucking DS games had some DS shit. But why did you say DDR? What did that have to do
I
with
love
anything?
DDR. No, that's counts
She
as a
just
retro
wanted to say
game.
a
It's
random game.
Just want
PlayStation
to talk
2.
about it.
No, I had
I
this
thought
whole
it was
thing.
only Nintendo.
I know. I snuck it in
She-
because I'm defiant.
She prefaced.
I literally Were you not listening? Rude. So basically for it, I had this whole spiel about it before we just limited it to Nintendo games. So I just wanted to like that.
So they went SD on this. They went Shadow Dragon. Fucking Nintendo. Jesus
What was
Christ.
the Ninja Gaiden game on the DS called?
I think that was called Dragon Sword.
Yeah, I think it was Dragon Sword.
That
That was cool.
Fucking awesome.
That game was crazy.
Yeah, it was Dragon Sword. I think I might have kept that too.
I think I have that still.
No, I didn't. I got rid of it.
That's a shame.
That's a good game. It's cool. You held it like a book. You held the DS like a book,
Yep.
and like
You used the touch screen
you
to
used
slash
touchscreen
and
to
stuff.
slash and move around and shit. It's
Yeah,
definitely
it was a-
different, but it was
It's
good.
cool.
Yeah, it was a cool Ninja Gaiden experience before we actually got portable versions of Ninja Gaiden 1, and Sigma, and all that other stuff.
Schmegma.
I always liked when they would use the DS in like different ways. There was a Ace Attorney game, I think, and you would like stamp it. It was kind of cool.
Did you ever play Hotel Dusk
I didn't.
on the DS? You need to play that.
You ever
You need
played
to play-
Castlevania, Dawn of Sorrow?
I was 3 when I had a DS. I played New Super Mario Bros.
What type of
And
excuse is that?
I feel like it's a pretty valid one.
You've
Yeah.
aged since then.
Dawn of
Yeah.
Sorrow was the fucking tits. But no, you need to play Hotel Dusk on a DS. You have a hacked 3DS, right?
Yes.
Oh, we all do.
I
Yeah,
know.
you need to play that. I think you would enjoy it. It's like a weird mystery game, but it uses the DS in like really cool ways.
Okay.
And
Oh, that's
Electroplankton. Get Electroplankton.
And Meteos.
And Meteos.
Meteos is the fucking tits.
And Tetris DS.
Tetris DS was good. All right, it's Josie's turn, right? Josie's
Yeah.
turn?
Mine kind of goes along with what Nate said earlier, but I had to put Diddy or Donkey Kong Country, the first one, on the SNES. I just recently finally beat the whole thing. I had been playing it since I was a kid, like back and forth since I was a kid, because I had this little machine that I used to play all the really old Donkey Kong games on and stuff. And so I finally ended up beating it and having that King K. Rool fight and everything like that, and it was super cool, super fun, and it was, I mean, there's some parts that I didn't adore, but, like, overall, I think it was very, very nice, and, I don't know, just clear that the quality was there even from that original release.
So a good game to have on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because you
Yes,
said it
was.
was super. Said a lot of super.
Super good. Yup.
Yeah,
Alright,
see,
Nate.
a lot of Super Nintendo stuff I don't have any nostalgia for because I didn't have one. I don't actually. I have 2 Super Nintendo games, and I have no idea what one of. Oh no, I have 3. I have Mario Paint because I mean that game's fucking awesome. I got Super Castlevania, and then there's one more, and I don't know what it is.
Is it Lemmings? Because Lemmings on the
Oh
Super
no,
NES is awesome.
Ken Griffey Jr.'s winning
Oh
a
my
run.
God.
I love
That's
the
a
dude.
great game, though.
Dude, when you'd walk into KB Toy Store and you'd be walking around, you'd be going towards the video game section, and you hear, "No one can stop this! No one can stop this!" You're like, "What the fuck is that?" Oh, it's Ken Griffey Jr.'s winning a run for the Super Nintendo. And I would sit there and I would just play that shit over and over again.
Did you ever play Michael Jordan Chaos on the Windy City?
Yes, I had a friend named Ryan. So Ryan RDS was his nickname because those were his initials. He had a Super Nintendo. We rented that once when I was over at his house. It was a very strange game.
It is, but did you know the game was designed by Amy Hennig?
No, I didn't. That's even more bizarre.
She went from that to Uncharted.
That's a hell. I mean, there are some elements of Uncharted in that.
Like that game is some old school shit that would not be made today. I think the closest we got was the LeBron James Space Jam game.
That game wasn't that bad.
No, for a freebie, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it lacked pretty much every feature you would expect from a modern day game like online multiplayer. But it was a decent enough free beat 'em up.
DC Fat Cat. No, that's Barkley Shut Up and Jam. In high school, my girlfriend got me that because my buddy told her to get me that for Valentine's Day. Complete in box copy. Because my uncle used to have it. And we played it at his house. And then I had bought a Sega Genesis back when fucking shit was cheap. Nate, it's your turn.
Yes, MJ had the ice and fireballs. You had a lot of different basketball varieties in the game. You also had like a gold ball that you would dunk and you'd get coins.
Yeah, there would be like
stuff.
random basketball goals like hanging around.
Yeah.
Like, word.
The game was something.
Since I am the host, I just wanted to say that we're beating the other podcast by
Well, you don't have to say the actual number.
by quite a bit. So good job, everyone. Thank you.
That's all that matters. Are they still talking about the Switch 2 patent?
Probably. Okay, Nate, hit us with your game.
This is a game that has features that modern games continue to lack. It gave the player so many customization options that I don't understand how the genre hasn't been able to match or even eclipse what this game had offered us. This is one of the finest games of its generation. A game that the company has not been able to match since. You needed the N64 expansion pack to play it at its fullest. We are talking Perfect Dark. The campaign was great, and the multiplayer had so many options. You could choose custom soundtrack, bots, set the difficulty of the bot, have, 16, 32 players. You could play the game literally to the point where the system was not functioning. The multiplayer of that game is phenomenal. You had the Slayer rocket, where you could guide the rocket to enemies. You were manually flying it through the stage, hunting people down. You had secondary features to every single weapon. The game was excellent. Modern first-person shooters still lack the features Perfect Dark gave us over 20 years ago, and that is a damn shame. Perfect Dark is a masterpiece that people are missing out on. It's a damn shame.
and I'm not a huge fan of it.
Well, that's because
I
you're
never,
wrong.
I don't know. Like, we played GoldenEye, and like when Perfect Dark came out, I don't know. We were still just playing GoldenEye. Like, it's a good game, but a lot of those first person shooters are a bit tough to revisit. I mean, you can play it on Xbox, and it feels
Mhm.
pretty good. But
It
as far as like
does.
going back to the original N64 version, I don't know. I think that's kind of tough, bruh. Yeah, it's T-Soul. We burned out on GoldenEye. Plus, like GoldenEye, I had a movie to go alongside of it, so it kind of made it cool. All right, we've got 9 minutes roughly, so we need to start rifling through some of these. I'll go next. Next is a game that nobody would have on their list. However, lots of nostalgia for this game for me. Had a GameCube screen in my Ford Explorer that would attach to the GameCube, and I attached the GameCube to the armrest of the Ford Explorer via Velcro strips. So there was a 5-inch screen in there, and we would get like anywhere from 8 to 10 dudes, a bunch of booze, a bunch of marijuana, a bunch of other things. We would sit in the fucking Ford Explorer, boxing that bitch out, playing street hoops. Street hoops, fantastic basketball game, outstanding soundtrack. You had the professor, half man, half amazing in it. Quality title before, the other one, because they made another one too. I didn't think it was that good. Like fucking this was the game, bro. This and Rocky were fucking
Come
hood
on.
classics.
That is the Wish version of NBA Streets.
This came out before NBA Street, I think.
And it was still the Wish version.
No, it set the standard. Ah!
What?
A couple games fell. Oh, bro. No, it smelled like fucking pot in there, like, because it was bad. I was more of a Mecha and Echo man. I did not have any Anichi.
All right, Celia, what's your game?
Oh, yeah, Echo.
So Sean hates this one, but Paper Mario and the Thousand-Year Door. I love that game so much.
I don't hate that game.
Oh, you always talk shit about it. Or am I misremembering? Oh, well.
Not me.
Okay,
Talk shit
just
about your
kidding.
cat, but not me.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you hated that one. My bad. I love that game so much. I've played through it so many times. The humor's on point. I love the badge points and the mechanics with it and the partner system. And I love that you can min-max the badge points and do challenges where you don't you make it harder for yourself. Or you just kind of make Mario into a complete machine, and it's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for the remake.
Yeah, me too. I've actually never played it, so I'm gonna play it with the remake.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for you. It's
Yeah.
so fun.
Little spoiler on Boomer versus Zoomer, but MBG's about to buy that for me.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, I'm excited.
Come on, that's not even fair anymore. He's old. You're always going to beat him.
What
He's
do you mean?
blind,
These
and-
are his
and
old games. I'll
His
play his old
reflexes are
games.
shot.
No, he's good.
We play wrestling and Call of Duty with him every night. Sometimes he spins in a circle and doesn't know where he is.
I'm about giving equal opportunity, regardless of age.
You gotta play
My
something more of his
game.
age, like solitaire.
Where that's crazy.
Or snooker.
Okay. My game is Super Mario Bros. 3 from the NES. I really like this game a lot. I've been going back for a while and replaying it just every few years or so. I have a good time with it. I think it's probably my favorite NES game ever. I think it holds up amazingly well. The platforming and the physics still works super nicely. And they just overall I just think it's a very fun game that is great and has a lot of things that have served as the blueprint for future Mario titles.
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, or the Wizard?
Yes.
Yes.
California.
Oh my gosh.
What game did little Jimmy get 50,000 points on? Double Dragon.
Nice. I've seen it once and I didn't pay attention, so I don't really know that
It's a
kind of
good
stuff.
movie.
Seems all right.
Nate, you're up next.
Oh. I'm gonna go with something from the GameCube era. Not Mario Sunshine,
Street Hoops?
not Street Hoops.
Ah, you fool.
And I kind of feel bad even saying it because it seems unfair because the GameCube just doesn't feel retro yet to me. I'm gonna go with a
Yeah,
game that
retro.
completely revolutionized gaming. Resident Evil 4.
I didn't like it on GameCube.
I know you like the Wii version because it's easier.
No, I didn't like
Ooh.
it on GameCube because I didn't like the fucking actions. I was like, this is not Resident Evil. But I eventually matured and started to like it. But I ended up selling my GameCube copy to my buddy because I was like, I'm not feeling this. And GameCube is right. I just did Street Hoops. Of course, it's retro.
Yeah, but still doesn't feel right.
I feel that.
It
All
just
right,
doesn't
Sean.
feel right.
I'm gonna go with a game that started a series and like Nintendo unfortunately kind of made it worse by doing a re-release of it. Because of instances that had happened with the person whose name was attached to it. I'm talking about Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Not fucking regular ass Punch Out. We don't fucking recognize that shit.
What's wrong with Mr. Dream?
He's not Mike Tyson.
He's
Mike
Mr.
Tyson
Dream.
was the fucking king at that time. And then it was one of those games where like even if you didn't like fucking video games, it was like, oh shit, it's Tyson, bro. Like that shit was crazy. I remember my uncle used to have like all these motherfuckers over at his shitty apartment fucking playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Like it was lit as fuck. But
Yeah.
I mean, and then fucking Sega did it. Buster Douglas. Sega did some stupid shit like that, bro. But no, Mike Tyson's Punch Out. It has to be Mike Tyson. If it's not Mike Tyson, I'm not playing it.
How do you feel about?
One of my friends played Mike Tyson's Punch Out on the Wii Virtual Console, and the whole time he's bragging. He's like, "Yo, Nate, I beat this game. He's like, I can beat this game so quick. Like, watch me right now." For over an hour, he fought Glass Joe.
Oh wow.
Glass Joe knocked him out for an hour. Glass Joe had a winning record before he quit.
That's
And
insane.
My friend kept saying, he's like, I beat this game before. I was like, Mike,
No.
you've never beaten this game before. Like, you can't beat Glass Joe right now. He's like, nah, I definitely beat it. So we looked up the code to get to Mike Tyson at the end. Got his ass
007.
fucking whipped.
What is it? 007131, something like that.
Something like that. He got his ass kicked so bad that he just got up, chugged a beer, and left.
007-373-5963.
Oh yeah, Gabby J. That was Super NES. That was Super Punch Out. Gabby J.
Yeah.
Punch Out's a really
Bear
cool
Hugger.
franchise. Do you think they'd ever bring it back, RGT?
No. Because it's based on stereotypes.
Yeah, but like
I
they,
mean,
well, but they can modernize
Soda
it,
Popinski.
right? Like
What are you
they
just gonna
not
have? What are you just gonna have random ass people with no personality?
throw in like the influencer boxers.
Oh Jesus
Just
Christ!
kidding. I'm
I'd
kidding.
play that. I'd play
Yeah.
that.
Beat the
Yeah, but then you'd have to pay them.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Nintendo's not paying anyone.
Well, I feel like it'd be a
Piston
cool
Honda.
franchise to come back. It's just like
They can't do
it's like a
Piston
puzzle
Honda.
game kind of thing.
What was the Bob Marley character in Super Punch Out? What was his name?
I didn't really like Super Punch Out that much, but I know who you're
can see-
talking about.
Yeah, he would come out there and woo, woo, woo.
Bob
That was his-
Charlie,
That's it.
really on the nose there. Celia, you're up next.
It's last one, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, just to make it quick, Sean had a bunch of like physical examples, so I'm just gonna go Chrono Trigger. I don't need to sell this game. Everyone knows how much it like impacted gaming and how awesome it is. So that's mine.
Yeah, there's really not much more to say. It's Chrono
Yeah.
Trigger.
10 out
How'd
of
you
10.
get that boxed copy?
I inherited it. I had a family member who had a game collection.
Oh
and
yeah, you
he left-
told me that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember when that happened, or
Yeah.
when you showed me some of that. It was years ago.
Very cool. Mine is Wii Sports. I just think
Jeez,
It-
we're ending on a banger here.
it is a
folks.
banger. It is a banger. Yikes. It's really good. I think it it ushered in all sorts of, it showed what the Wii could do. It's a game that has not been topped by even Switch Sports that has been out more recently. I would love to see it come back for whatever happens with the next Nintendo console, Super Switch Sports or whatever happens. I think would be great. And I just have a lot of nostalgia for it. So that's also the main reason it's on this list because it's my own. But I love
Yeah.
it a lot.
And I played the Wii baseball all the time. Did
Yes.
Home Run Derby.
Yes.
Did the hitting one where you try to get as many hits as you could,
hmm
and compete with like my brother and friends and stuff to see who would get the most consecutive hits or would hit the furthest in Home Run Derby, because we were at the point we were always hitting 10, but we were trying to hit 5,000, 5,500, 6,000 feet total. And that's what we would compete against. And if we beat each other's high score, we'd take a picture on our cell phones and send us a text message, be like, yeah, like, fuck you, I beat you by 25 feet. And then they'd come home, or we'd be in college or whatever, and it would be, now I beat you by 3 feet. And you'd play for hours on end of just competing. Oh, we did the golf a lot with the closest to the target.
hmm
We would always doing something on the game. We never really did the boxing, though. Didn't get into that.
Oh, really? I was huge in the boxing. When I went home for Christmas, we had like a boxing tournament thing for Wii Sports. It was super fun. It's a good time. But yeah, those are our top 20 retro games between the between the four of us. Good job, everyone, for participating.
Do
Again,
we have super chats?
oh, we probably did.
Yeah,
Shit.
we did. There was a few.
Okay, I got you. Don't even worry about it. We got. What are your gaming pet peeves? Mine are escort missions where the NPC moves way slower than you. Oh, I don't like those either. That's a good one.
I feel that.
Padding.
Yeah, padding.
Padding that you can tell is padding, which I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Rebirth has a lot of padding. It's not the same kind of padding that was in Remake, where it was just like, one big section of padding. It just constantly feels like everything you have to do, even the most minuscule tasks, there's padding involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
This next one
and
comes from
unskippable cutscenes.
I was gonna say that.
It's a good one. Smash TV on NES. Give me a remaster.
Well, they made that one game.
It's on
The hell's it
XBLA,
called?
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Though that's the arcade version. But what's
Oh.
that? What's that game that came out on like every fucking system, and they sent it to a bunch of YouTubers? That's essentially Xeno something or not. MVG. What's the
Oh.
name of that game? I want to say Xeno Crisis, but I feel like that's not it.
Something like that, though.
Oh, it is Xeno Crisis. Yeah, you should check out Xeno Crisis because that's like available on every platform under the sun. Like literally, like Sega Genesis, Dreamcast, fucking MVS. It's a good game.
This comes from SB. Nate, why do you never show your face?
What do you mean? That is my face.
Just talking in the void. Liam Warner with the 199 behind, but is Max really not returning to cast?
Nah,
Oh, it's his Spunkcast.
he's got a open door policy. Everyone
He can always come back.
pretty much. All right, so Omega sent.
And that's true. I did show my face. There is a T-shirt with my face on it. Evan designed it. It was a limited edition T-shirt.
Did you DM it to me?
What?
Omega. Because I don't see a DM with the proof of Josie having a pimple in her nose. God damn.
That's not a thing. Oh my gosh, Joshua Butts with the 100. Damn, join late. I'll have to watch what I missed later. Thanks for the great content. Love you guys.
It's the
Wow.
butt, man.
Wow. Thank you
See?
so much.
They know.
All right, before we hop out, thank you to our executive producers, John O, Joshua Butts, who's just also super chat. He's a menace. Mr. Joby, The Game Orb, William Hoag, and Trent A. If you guys want to support the cast here, that's wild. If you guys want to support the cast here, check the description, go to spawncast.com and become a Patreon member. You get a
Spawncast
bonus
Network.
show, spawncastnetwork.com. That's why I don't host. We have an after show. We're going to do that
Actually,
right
wait.
now.
The website's gone. I am so quitting. Fuck John.
You mean the Patreon's gone?
No, go to spawncastnetwork.com and no longer links to the fucking Patreon. It just says the site can't be reached.
Are you sure it's not .net?
All right, click the link
No.
below so RGT doesn't quit. Join the fam. We have an after show. There's a bunch of different shows on there. It's a great time. You know, it's thanks everybody for being here. We absolutely demolished the other podcast. We appreciate you. Good night.